Joining me now to talk about it, former federal prosecutor and author of the terrific book, License to Lie, Sidney Powell. And Sidney, thanks for being with us. We learned today from the president, by virtue of his interview, that all of the money that he paid out in exchange for non-disclosure agreements came from him, not the campaign. It is not a crime to contribute to your own campaign, is it?
No, definitely not. And it's not a crime to settle matters for less than their nuisance value as a lawsuit either. It made perfect sense to take care of those things when he did. And, you know, there's just nothing to it.
And he can do it to benefit his campaign in any way, shape, or form, as long as it's legal in a contract. To be quiet in exchange for money is a valid contract in American law, right?
It's the same thing as settling a nuisance lawsuit.
Right.
There's no real difference there.
Then I'm still scratching my head over the stunningly obtuse statement by a guy who went to Yale Law School, classmates of Hillary Clinton, and that was Lanny Davis, who's a longtime Clinton ally and friend. Here's what he said today on Fox News. Take a listen.
There's no question that he's committed a federal crime, and whether he can be indicted has never been decided. If Michael Cohen, with the prosecutors in New York agreeing, admitted to that, then certainly Donald Trump is guilty of the same crime.
All right, so he says there's no question he committed a federal crime, meaning the president. He seems to have forgotten that pesky little thing called justice and trials, in which Lanny Davis doesn't decide who committed a crime, but rather a jury upon sufficient evidence and proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Not only that, but Michael Cohen's guilty plea doesn't even mean that Michael Cohen is guilty of that offense. The prosecutors obviously put that information in there simply to try to implicate the president. I don't know that, and we don't know and can't know that Michael Cohen really did what he said he was doing when he admitted that, because even the innocent people plead guilty when they simply can't take it anymore. Judge Rakoff wrote an article on that at least several years ago now. I think it was 2014, about why the innocent plead guilty. It happens all the time.
And in fact, he said research shows
of the trial.
He says research shows that defendants often plead guilty when they're actually innocent. They also provide false confessions because they're pressured and threatened by overzealous prosecutors, right?
Exactly, and we know jolly well that they particularly wanted that information and him to recite that line so they could use it to implicate President Trump. I think Schumer's even out already saying, oh, that's reason that he shouldn't be able to name the next Supreme Court justice, which is just incredible abuse of process and ridiculous assertion for him to make.
Just about everything that Lanny Davis said today was fundamentally wrong about the law. If Michael Cohen admitted to a crime, then Trump is guilty of that same crime. As you point out, that's not necessarily a crime just because prosecutors said it was so, and Cohen, under pressure, agreed. In fact, I talked to a career former prosecutor at the Department of Justice today who spent half of his career doing election law cases, and he laughed at the Southern District of New York prosecutors who called this a crime. He said it just is not in any way, shape, or form.
No, it can't be. Those campaign finance laws are seriously nuanced and should be nothing but civil penalties under the best of circumstances. And what Cohen says he knew isn't what Donald Trump knew at all. They're very different things. There's no evidence of criminal intent, nor would there ever be.
Well, and in fact, you're right about that, because to criminalize what is otherwise a civil penalty under Campaign Election Law Act violations, you have to show knowledge and intent. Now, you know, most candidates don't know much about election laws because they're incredibly dense and difficult and complex. I do want to ask you about another thing that seems to be coming up, and that is why, if it was a non-crime, would federal prosecutors in the Southern District have forced Cohen to plead to a non-crime. Why would they do that?
Because they want that language in there to try to implicate the president. This is just another angle by which to smear him and to cause him further legal problems. It's probably part of the insurance policy. They're also trying to make new law. The Obama administration did that all the time by charging things that weren't really crimes. And if you read License to Lie, you'll see that things that Mr. Weissman was involved in, even guilty pleas had to be allowed to be withdrawn because they'd convinced people to plead guilty to things that weren't crimes. This is very well likely that same scenario.
So if Robert Mueller and his team of partisans are determined to implicate Trump for crimes he didn't commit, are you telling me then that the Southern District of New York prosecutors are in bed with Mueller in their determination as well?
It certainly looks that way to me.
I mean,
they have gone to extraordinary lengths here to get this information in that plea agreement and to have him recite those statements when they know jolly well that it is a lame assertion under the best of circumstances, probably only civil, and they're trying to push it past the limits that would be ordinarily acceptable.
So
they can cause more problems for the president.
So Robert Mueller is essentially engaged in a conspiracy with the Southern District of New York prosecutors to abuse their position of power and office as prosecutors to force somebody to plead guilty to a non-crime, to implicate the president.
Yes, and he sent it to them for that reason. He sent it to the Southern District of New York to expand his authority. You and I have both felt that way for a long time, not to narrow it at all, but to expand his reach, and he picked the Southern District of New York for a reason. They certainly didn't hesitate to go after Michael Cohen and search everything he had and owned. That was part of it. You know, we've seen unprecedented action taken against this president to cause him problems from every conceivable front.
Well, I couldn't believe the prosecutors stood in front of cameras yesterday and microphones and, you know, declared this a crime when, in fact, he must know that that's not true at all. Sidney Powell, thank you very much. Good to see you as always.